Hey kids, good morning. Welcome back to Worth the Spin. I'm your host, Jack. Alright, we're going to look at the last few pieces I have from that trip that I made a couple of weeks or so ago to that new record store. I've shown you everything else that I've gotten from there. These are the last three pieces that I acquired from there. Kind of stretching it out, a little filler for the videos so I could get more videos out of it. Alright, we're going to take a look at 145 and 2 EPs. Which ones are they? That's a good question. Let's find out. By the way, I've started an Instagram account, and if you looked on Instagram a few days ago, you saw what we were going to do. But if you want to check out my Instagram page, you do that, and you will find it on there. It's worth_the_spin_. So check me out. If you enjoy this video, hopefully you will enjoy my short little Instagram thingies. Alrighty. First one we're going to look at is the single for The Long and Winding Road. And this is the final single to be released by the Beatles. I wanted to say as a band, but they were already broken up when this was released. So that's your side A, and this is your side B for your side B of For You Blue. And by the way, For You Blue, for whatever reason, the beginning's cut off. So they cut off John's comment about the Queen and pot-smoking FBI agents. Why it was a big deal, I really don't know. It's on the album, so they didn't cut it off the album, but whatever. We're going to take a quick look at the single here, which is in really good condition. Some light surface scratching, not very much at all though. Let's see if I can do this without fingers in the way. There's your side A. And here is your edited, though it doesn't say that, side B. I just find it funny that that statement was removed from the B side of a single when you can hear it on the album. Just kind of amusing to me. Alright, this was released in May of 1970, and again, it was the final of the Beatles releases to be released. So, awesome. Also, the last Beatles #1. Alright, so that's really good, and this is great. I think this was like $4, man. That's crazy. It's fantastic condition. Plays great. A little light static. No skips, no jumps, none of that kind of stuff that we hate so much. It's a fantastic find for $4. He's got more of these EPs and singles. And when he gets them together, he's going to send me a little video, he says, if he gets time, of what he has. But it might be that way next weekend if someone popping in and seeing what there is. Let's take a look at this. So this is the only EP, I believe. I'm a little vague on some of the VJ stuff because there's so much of it, and most of it was bootleg stuff. So, but this was the only EP released by VJ. And the story behind this is the Beatles came, they did the Ed Sullivan Show, and they left and went back home to England. VJ said, here's a chance for us to put a little bit more change in our pocket off of that set of songs that we bought originally that we've released in a few different versions and are going to lose. So they did this EP, and this is called A Souvenir of Their Visit to America. So they came out with a purpose saying, you know, they're gone and they probably won't be back. They might never be back to America. So here's a souvenir of that trip that they have over there for you to remember. At a cost, of course. So this is really cool. And because I've seen the record itself quite a bit, but the label's always faded up and torn, and the record looks like somebody skipped it down a freeway or something. And another thing that's really cool is this is, you can see, actual cardboard. It's an actual cardboard sleeve. Trying to be careful because we've got some seam ripping there, and this was a bit of an expensive EP. Other than that, there's some little dings here, but this thing is in really fantastic condition for its age, I think. Side A, and so you know, side B. No real difference there. It's pretty much the same. So this was cool. They sold a lot of these because everybody bought into the whole, whoop, they're gone, better get a souvenir. This was released, this is the second pressing, and I'm thinking from what I can nail down, and it's been kind of tough. And with the VJ stuff, it always is really tough to nail down. But May to June of 64 is what I'm pegging this at. There's variations out there. You got the rainbow label, the non-rainbow rainbow, all black with the gray print. There's just a lot out there. So it's been kind of hard for me to track this thing down. So we have that. So the third thing that we have here is another EP. So Capitol released 2 EPs when they had the license for the Beatles albums. England was doing the EPs, and EPs in England are basically, when you're Beatle records, most of the records are expensive in UK. So kids saved up in order to buy the latest Beatle release. When I was a kid, I did the same thing. When I first got into the Beatles in like 73, 74, I would save my allowance money of $2 whole a week up long enough in order to get a new Beatles record. Or get lucky at yard sales, which wasn't too hard back then, honestly, when I was a kid, to find Beatle records and 45s at yard sales. I'd see them all the time. I didn't see stuff like this, the EPs and stuff, but I'd find singles all the time. A lot of times not in their original sleeves, or the sleeves were ripped and torn and stuff like that, but it wasn't that hard to find them. And this one again, so this is, by the way, this is 4 by the Beatles. This contains Rover Beethoven, This Boy, All My Lovin', and Please Mr. Postman. And that is your fancy side A. And hey, this is going to surprise you. Guess what the B side is? Same thing. But it's cool. And again, and this is like, I'd say this is probably 95% matte. So this is a cardboard sleeve too. Not your old paper sleeves, cardboard. Pretty cool. We got a little stain right there with a number 15. I don't know what the 15's for. 15th piece of entertainment I own in my house, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's always weird to see that. I guess this could have been resold at some point, and the value was considered to be $15, and I wrote 15 on it. It's a possibility. I don't know. This side's got a little bit of staining on it too, which I toyed with trying to remove, but this side here is kind of bubbled up. Whatever it is, sat on there long enough to kind of bubble up the picture, and I don't want to mess that up, so we're just going to leave it the way it is and pretend we don't see it. So we'll put that back in there, and we'll take a look at the record itself, which has surface scratching. Yeah, if you don't want these older releases that have a little bit of surface scratching, you're going to have to put out some serious money to buy them online. You can't get them mint. You can even get them sealed still. But, it's just a lot of money. More than I can afford. And the weird thing about this is the surface scratching is on the lead-in part of the record. Not so much on the main record with the songs. And there's quite a bit, not quite a bit, but there's some surface scratching on this one too. But most of the surface scratching on it is in the dead wax. And it's weird because of all this stuff that I got. This was all from the same collection. And 3 items have heavy surface scratching in a dead wax area. And you don't see a lot of surface scratching or any kind of scratching in the dead wax area. It's smooth. It doesn't have grooves. And usually when the needle hits it, it just runs straight through to the end and either just rotates during it goes around and around, or if you have an automatic stop, it'll just stop. So that's kind of weird. But anyway, this would be your side A right there. And like I said, I've seen this one quite a bit, but it's without the sleeve, and it's very rough. And there you go there. And this one, unfortunately, does have a bit more static on it than what I would like. This was not a cheap EP either. These things are really kind of hard to find, but they're worth owning, I think. So there's no jump skips or nothing like that, but it does have a bit more static on it than what I like. I don't mind the static in between the songs, or even so much of it starts right, kind of at the tail end of it. But when it's heavy during a song, it really kind of ruins it for me. Alrighty, so again, Capitol did 2 EPs. They didn't sell. They were trying to duplicate that trend from the UK where they released EPs and they sold really well. And Capitol figured they could do the same and make even more money, and it didn't work. Neither EP sold. They just kind of sat there. So it's weird that you don't see more of the EPs and at a more reasonable budget price. I see them a lot without the sleeve, and like I said, they're usually pretty well scratched up and labels faded up and messed up and whatever. So even with this one, I've seen this one quite a bit too, and it's always without the sleeve, and it'll be all scratched up and labels torn up and that. So it's kind of weird that they're not easier to find. This one certainly outsold the Capitol EPs, so I can see this one being harder to find. This one, usually if they don't sell a lot, they're harder to find, because back then they just kind of dumped that back stock. They didn't keep it for anything. So how many's floating around out there, I don't know, but I do know it's really hard to find with the sleeve. Like I said, I can find it quite a bit without the sleeve. So those are the last 3 pieces from this collection, and he has some more, and I'm hoping for a video here soon. And if I don't get it, doesn't matter. I think next weekend I'll be that way, so I'll stop in and take a look and see what he's got. I know he's got some more of the EPs, and I'm missing a few EPs, but the ones he has are 80s represses, he says. So not as crazy about those as I am the British ones, but I'll take a look and see what he's got in there. May it be worth adding to my collection. Alrighty, so that's all I got for you. Short video for once, but there's not much to say about these 3. They're good releases. You should own them in your Beatles collection, I think, and they're nice. Alrighty, so that's what I got for you this time. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you like it, subscribe, and give me a thumbs up. That's right. Fancy graphics time. Should have warned you there. A lot of lights and stuff going on. But anyway, alrighty. I hope to see you next video, where we are going to talk about... Yep, that's what we're talking about. I don't know. We'll find something by then. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like it. Feel like leaving a comment, please leave a comment. I like comments. And that's all I got for you. Until then, listen to whatever music you want to, and in whatever format you want to. I prefer vinyl, but if you want to listen to downloads, that's perfectly cool. If you want to listen to CDs, that's perfectly cool. But listen to something. Make music the soundtrack of your life. Something. Be kind to one another. Lots of unkind people out there this past week I've encountered. So I'm just going to continue going on and passing on the goodness and love, whether they like it or not. Eventually they're going to have to give up and just join the rest of us in being loving individuals. That's just the way it works. So have a good week, and I will see you hopefully next week with another probably Beatles album. We'll talk about something. Alright, again, hope you enjoyed this channel. Thanks for tuning in. Take care, and share this video with somebody. Maybe they would enjoy it too. I'll see you later.